Recorded Books presents an unabridged recording of Black Rainbow by Barbara Michaels, narrated by Barbara Rosenblatt. This book is copyrighted 1982 by Barbara Michaels. This recording is copyrighted 1991 by Recorded Books. Barbara Michaels writes in her foreword to Black Rainbow, "As an admirer of cats, particularly Siamese, I am of course familiar with the tradition that the first Siamese cats in England were brought to that country by Owen Gould, British Consul General at Bangkok in 1884. I have felt at liberty to introduce a fictitious member of the breed at an earlier date, since it seems to me quite possible that unrecorded examples may well have existed. Like the cat, all the characters in this book are entirely fictitious and bear no resemblance to any persons, living or dead." And now, Black Rainbow.
Book 1. Megan. Chapter 1. Scientists assert that it is a wholly natural phenomenon, child of storm cloud and full moon, as its bright sister of day is the offspring of sunlight and rain. Megan was not superstitious, but when she reached the top of the ridge and saw the black rainbow, framing the huddled towers of Greyhaven Manor, her first impulse was to pick up her wet, clinging skirts and retreat at full speed back down the slope she had so laboriously ascended. The rain squall that had drenched her during her walk passed as quickly as it had come, and as the weary girl paused to rest, the full moon burst free of the clouds. The rainbow's hues ranged from palest silver grey to a black deeper than the moonlit vault of the sky. An ominous portent for a traveller whose destination was the old house under that sinister arc. It lay in a little cup of hills, whose slopes must be green and pleasant by daylight. The moon robbed them of colour, as it did all other objects in view. The trees were sable plumes, the lawns pale as snow, the little stream a silver ribbon. The scene had an eerie beauty, but Megan found herself wishing she had not beguiled her weeks of enforced idleness by reading so many of the Gothic romances then in fashion, with their abundance of spectres, vampires, and haunted castles. Not that she had had much choice. Her landlady's small library consisted entirely of such volumes, and she had not had the money to join a circulating library. At first glance, the ancient walls and towers of Greyhaven appeared to be a perfect setting for one of Mrs. Radcliffe's tales of imperilled maidens and black monks. Subsequent glances gave quite a different impression. Sheltered by the enclosing hills, the house clung to the earth like a curled-up cat, blinking yellow windows of eyes in smug content. The suggestion of warmth and light in those amber squares was most welcome to a wet and weary traveller. Still, Megan lingered, tempted to rest a while before proceeding. They had told her at the station that it was only 4 miles to the house. The distance had seemed at least twice that long. She had eaten nothing since breakfast, and her wet skirts felt heavy as lead. The ground was damp, and she shivered in the sharp breeze that had arisen to scatter the clouds. The moon rode high above the last rack of the storm, a silver ball rolling up an invisible path across the sky, chariot of the goddess Diana, virgin huntress of the Romans. Megan was better educated than most of her class. She knew her Latin and even a little Greek, but she had not learned of pagan gods from the nuns who had provided her formal schooling. Her father had been half a pagan himself, from his tales and from the books he somehow managed to obtain. wherever their travels led them. She had learned of Zeus and Apollo, grim Pluto and his stolen bride, and the other immortals of Olympus. Under the spell of the black rainbow, she remembered things she would rather have forgotten. The black and silver landscape was no place for bright Apollo or the harmless nymphs of grove and stream. But what a night for Diana the huntress, whose other persona is the witch goddess Hecate, and whose pack hunts human prey. Megan's skin prickled as she heard a frenzied, distant howling. Another sound, close at hand, made her glance fearfully over her shoulder. Surely it had been the soft patter of hooves. A harmless deer, or a ghostly stag, the horse of a human traveller, or a great black stallion spurred on by one of the grim, inhuman...
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.